Hello, this is Mr. Quinola, and I'm going to help you find the surface area of a triangular prism. If you guys remember, a prism is a solid that has two bases on opposite sides of each other that are congruent and parallel. So if we look at this one right here, it's a triangular prism because it's two bases which are congruent. They're both congruent triangles and they're parallel. They'll never intersect each other. They're both triangles, so it's a triangular prism. So here's the example that we're going to do today. We need to find the surface area of this triangular prism. So remember, area is how many squares can fit on the surface. So how many squares would fit on the surface that we can touch. So here, first let's think back. What is our formula for surface area of a prism? So surface area, we'll just put SA is equal to, how many bases does a prism have? It has 2. And so we'll write 2b plus everything else in between. So the lateral area, which represents P times H. So the B stands for base area. The 2 represents the two bases that a prism has. The P and the H represents the area of everything in between. Okay, so and if we unwrap this here and here, okay, these 4 faces right here would make a rectangle. So we're finding the area of that rectangle by finding by using the base perimeter. Okay, so the base perimeter, so this plus this plus this times the distance between the two bases right here. So let's use this example. Let's first identify our two bases, which are congruent and parallel. It would be this triangle right here. Let's just highlight that with this triangle right here. Okay, so let's find the area of one of these triangles. And remember, area for a triangle is base times height divided by 2. And the base and the height are perpendicular. So this is 90 degrees right here. This is a right angle. Let's just put a right angle right there to remind us that it's a right triangle. So we have the two sides. So let's just multiply it. So 8 times 6. And since a triangle is half of a rectangle, we'll divide by 2. And let's use our trusty old calculator. 8 times 6, and half of it, because it's a triangle, half of a rectangle, is 24. So this one base, this one triangle is 24 inches squared. So we'll plug that into our formula. Since we have two bases, we'll multiply it by 2 and multiply it by 24. So this right here represents the area of both of these bases. Now we have to find the area of the remaining faces. So this rectangle, this bottom rectangle, and this back rectangle right here. So let's get the base perimeter. And remember, we're using the triangle as our base, so we're going to add everything, all the lengths of the sides of the triangle. But look at this, looks like we're missing a side, but it's a right triangle, so we know how to figure out what the length of this missing side is. Since it's a right triangle, we're going to use the Pythagorean Theorem. And so it is, Pythagorean Theorem is c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. If you like writing a squared plus b squared equals c squared, it's the same thing. One of the sides is 8. The other side is 6. So we'll write 6 squared, and let's write c squared. So 8 squared is 64, plus 6 squared is 36. And 64 plus 36 is 100. Okay, does this mean that this side is 100? No, because we forgot that the c isn't by itself. It has a c squared. And what's the opposite of squaring something? Is square rooting. So let's put a square root symbol around that, and the square root of 100. So c is equal to 10. So the hypotenuse of this triangle is 10. Now we have every side to help us find the perimeter of this base. So let's just put it in the calculator so we can keep track of it. So this side is 6 plus 8 plus 10 is 24. So the base perimeter is 24. And we're going to multiply that by h, which is the height or the distance between the two bases. How far are these two bases from each other? They're 5 inches apart from each other, so we'll write 5. And now let's just use our calculator. All right, the 24 is already there, so 24 times 2 is 48. So that represents the area of our two bases. Now let's find the area of our lateral faces, or the lateral area, everything in between. So 24 times 5 is 120. And let's just add both of these up. Let's find the sum of 120 plus 48, which would be 168 inches. And don't forget, it's how many squares fit on the surface, so inches squared. And there's your final answer. Good job.